Good afternoon. This wasn't a speaker I was going to do a video about because I think they're probably a bit cheap and cheerful. This is a Sony E-55, and the reason I'm actually going to do a video on this speaker is because of some past comments and one recently. And basically those comments go, I don't know why you're bothering with that speaker, it's not worth anything. And for some people, a lot of people, speakers are just boxes that sit in the lounge, sit in your bedroom, whatever, play music. For other people, speakers have huge sentimental and emotional value to them. Some people have had these speakers handed down and they've lost parents and they have memories of them dancing around, enjoying themselves, listening to these speakers. And that's why some speakers aren't all about material value or the component value. They're about more than that. And these speakers are to the person that's dropped them off. He remembers his parents dancing to these and just enjoying them. He is enjoying listening to them, and I've been given the job of getting them working again. These have a very, very, very low powered mid-range driver in them. In fact, its continuous power, if I can find the old one, its continuous rating is 1 watt. With a maximum of 10. It's a little 2.5, 3-inch mid-range, sits in a very small enclosure, and he's struggled for ages to try and find replacements for this, and they're just not out there. The reason being, this speaker you can probably buy second-hand for, I don't know, I'm guessing here maybe 60-70 quid, maybe a bit more, I don't know. And it's a really common problem. He's been on some websites, forums and things like that, and this is a really, really common problem. This just fails. And you've got a pretty decent paper cone woofer, pretty decent soft dome tweeter, but these mid-ranges pack up. So I said to him, well, if we can't get replacements, then really all we can do is try and find something that will, first of all, physically fit in here, but also has maybe similar characteristics to this, or it's something that we can work with. I will put the measurements up I took of these with the mid-range not working now. So as you can see, there's a big dip where the mid-range is. To me, it's more of a fill-in driver than a mid-range. So hopefully that makes life a bit easier. So anyway, what I've managed to do is find a Staten driver that would fit in there. It's a bit of a pig getting the old driver out. You have to heat it so the glue bond breaks and then twist it out, but this one fits in there perfectly. In fact, the gasket almost clicks inside the original cutout, so in terms of a physical fit, perfect. Obviously we've not got the same cone color anymore, but that's just something we're going to have to live with. We can't match that, but I think that's going to sit in there perfectly. So yeah, what I'll do, I'll show you how I take out the these drivers, precautions you need to take, and I'll tell you the part number for this driver. It's an FR8JS. These are pretty cheap, so what I'll do when I come to do the measuring, I will let you know what I needed to integrate this in terms of crossover changes, because, you know, like I say, I'm probably never going to do another one of these, so I might as well just throw it out there because this seems to be a common issue. So if it gets these working again and people start enjoying the music again, then I think we've done our job. Right, so what I did to get this out of the old plastic housing was to use a piece of old baffle board I've got and some foam, so I can put this inside there, fix it down to secure it, and then what I have to do is carefully heat it, get rid of all of the old foam. Eventually, when the glue's dried on this, I'll run some new foam around there as a gasket, but it's sealed in there beautifully. And then we're going to have to heat it carefully to break the glue bond and then twist it out. You're almost at the point where you're softening the plastic, so you've got to be very, very careful. And the reason for the foam underneath is just to protect the paint finish on the front. So I'm just clamping this down just tight enough to hold it steady and not to bend the plastic down at all. So now I need to carefully heat this. So I want to get this paper off now it's got some heat in it, so that way I can transfer the heat into the metal, because the card will act as an insulator, and really it's the metal I want to heat up, not the plastic. So we'll get as much of this off as we can and then heat it up. Take your time doing this, and from time to time just check some of the glue that's on there, see if it's going soft, and keep the heat moving as well. It's getting quite soft now. There we go. So you've got to be really careful, because you don't want to damage this. So now what we can do is clean this all up and then get our new driver in there. Right, so to clean this up, it's just a case of sharp knife, go round, clean off as much as you can. Some of it will just pick off. I probably wouldn't spend too much time getting it all off, just enough so where you glue the new driver in, it's not going to cause a problem with it sticking. Right, I'll do this. Right, so with a bit of persuasion, your new driver, you've got the gasket there, will pinch inside this. And I found that if you kind of twist it as you're pushing it in, it will sort of lock in like that. And then if you line your tags up with these, it's all in there nice and square. So there we go, that is really locked in there. So what I'll do now is glue this, and then when the glue's dried, we'll rub some or run some felt round here to create a new gasket. So yeah, there we go. Right, so I've finished with these. I've just done the measurements and they've actually turned out really well. I've had to do nothing to the crossovers. I've literally put them in there. I've played around with the damping material in the little chamber that's behind there. But other than that, they've gone in really well. There is a bit of a lump at around 2 kilohertz, which is not the perfect place to have it, but it's probably not something I can really address with a crossover. Yeah, I could put a notch filter in there and pull it down, but a lot of it's coming from all these edges. This step we've got here, it improves when you put the covers on, and also when you go horizontal off axis a little bit, it really smooths out. And actually they don't measure too badly. I would suggest you listen just below tweeter axis, going by the measurements, and probably keep these flat, don't toe them into the listening position. But yeah, otherwise I'm very pleased. I really haven't had to do any crossover work to get the new mids working. Just physically fit them. They're a nominal 8 ohm mid anyway, the same as the original, and they both match really well. I've done side-by-side measurements and they're really good. So yeah, turned out all right. So if you've got a pair of these with a pair of blown mids, which seems to be really common, then this works. If it's not something you want to tackle yourself, by all means drop us an email. I will just need these, so you can post them to me. I could fit new mids and post them back to you. You have to change one of the crimp lugs because the connections are a bit different on these, but other than that, all good. I've given them a clean on the front, treated the rubber suspension as well because that was a bit dry, and yeah, pretty good. Anyway, so they're going back to the guy, and he can enjoy the music again because that's what it's all about. Anyway, thanks for watching.